Okay, just to rewind here. If there was a circle chart of 100%, maybe up into the age of 18, what do you think of all those areas you spent the most time? Was it Gwinnett that took the bulk of that upbringing for you?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay. And what was that really like growing up in that area for you?
I feel like it was pretty much what you would expect from like any suburban town. Wasn't really surrounded by like minorities or anything like that until I like started venturing out of my school and like started meeting new people and stuff like that.
Now, there seems to be a theme from previous portions of questions with you where you use the phrase bad. You mentioned like you were a bad kid or you were doing bad things or whatever the case may be there, right?
hmm
Where did that stem from? Because there might be some good kids out there that don't indulge in those type of activities. So where did this badness, quote unquote, stem from? Are you able to pinpoint that?
I'm not quite sure. I think honestly, curiosity.
Now, what was the bottom point for you? During your upbringing in Gwinnett County, what was your lowest point or most negative moment growing up there?
I would probably say like growing up in that environment, it made me feel like it just made me feel really trapped. It made me feel like I wasn't, able to see anything or anyone outside of what was going on in my life. I wasn't really, yeah, wasn't really inspired by anybody.
Now, mentally, has this been something you sought any professional help over? And not just this, but maybe any other trauma you may have experienced in your childhood, growing up into adulthood.
Um, Sorry, can you repeat that first part?
Yes, mentally, has this been something you sought any professional help over?
Professional? No. Definitely took it into my own hands. I feel like when you venture out by yourself and, just experience the world like outside of what your environment is, you're just gonna see things for what they really are and, change as a person a little bit.
Be that as it may, do you want any?
Maybe in the future. Maybe a little bit out.
Now, for you, how were you able to survive that upbringing in Gwinnett County? Because there are some that don't make it.
That's true. I think it was doing those bad things with my friends helped me venture out. Yeah.
Now, there are some people who say things like, don't know if I'll make it to see the age of 18. Maybe 21, for example. Did you have any of these thoughts yourself growing up in Gwinnett County?
For sure. For sure.
Was it a specific numeric figure for you you didn't think you might quite see at one point?
I think it was like 16, 17. I was like, there's no way. Here.
Now, care to share what age you are at this point?
I'm 19 years old.
And the month and the day, perhaps.
January 27th.
And what do you make of that outcome now that you are on the opposite end of that equation? 3 years away from that equation. 3 years.
I'd say, hell yeah, you fucking did it. And, there's nothing you can't put your mind to, so.
Knowing what you know now, on the other side of that coin, hypothetically speaking, what would you have said to your younger self back then, if anything?
I would probably tell my younger self that it gets better. It gets a whole lot better. Just thug it out, push it through.
Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, what was the top point for you during your upbringing in Gwinnett County? What was your highest point or most positive moment growing up for you in that environment?
It's a good question. My top. Ooh, I would probably say, like discovering social media, probably like when I was younger and like finding like during COVID and stuff like that, everyone had to be inside the house, and that's when I like realized like, oh, I can make online friends and still be cool and reach out to people.
And when it comes to social media, just in case there are some scammy pages about you, of you, things of that nature, care to share your official handles on your most prominently frequented social media platforms?
Yeah, my TikTok is TheCoralK, same as my Instagram, and my Twitter, TheCoralK as well.
What about modeling? What about artistry? When did that enter into your life?
I started taking, like, I wouldn't say modeling photo shoots, but like, I would do like little brand promotions, like, and like my friend Bree would like help me do these crazy shoots, and that's how I like started, getting a feel of, taking pictures of myself and, doing brand promotions and deals and things like that.
And did that stem from social media itself, or you were doing that prior to social media?
I was doing that after I got on social media.
And the artistry?
That is just something that came recently, actually. I think it just came from being with a lot of creative people and finding, I've always had that type of passion, but it was just more of like I can do this now. Like I can, put my heart into something that I love and see it through,
And do you want to shed any more light specifically on what type of artistry you're referencing here?
Yeah, I do. I've made a couple of songs like in the past few months. They're more like alternative rock, pop, I'd say. I'm thinking about like releasing probably like end of this year, maybe beginning of 2025.
So all unreleased at this point of the interview.
All unreleased, yeah. Keeping it in the vault.
Now, when it came to COVID-19, just for clarification here, were you speaking on the time period of COVID-19 and the pandemic, or did you actually contract that yourself at one point?
Oh, no, I never got COVID, but I was just talking about like 2019, 2020.
All right, now we talked about two opposite ends of your upbringing here, the bottom and the top. Anything else you want to mention in regards to your raising, upbringing, things of that nature, or a question you weren't asked, people want to know just about that subject matter alone?
I was raised by my mother and my two sisters, and I feel like growing up in a household with, strong women, it really helped me become who I am, and I'm very thankful for them.
All right, and speaking of siblings, where do you fit on that ladder there?
I'm the youngest.
And what was that position like? The youngest child.
It sucks. It sucks. You always gotta be like the runner. It's like, hey, go get this for me. Go do this. Go do that. But now it's like, now that we're like almost somewhat closer in age, like, I can stand up to them a little bit more.
And that was same mother and father for all three of you?
Yeah, same mom, same dad.
And what was the biggest lesson you learned with that position, being the youngest on that ladder?
It made me realize, or it made me just like help me with like maybe like my ego or like my mouth, because I've always had like authoritative figures in my life. It made me, made me calm down a little bit.